KeyShield SSO, the benefits of the integration, and then also a promotion that we have exclusive for our Everything Help Desk customers. And then following Kyle, we will be hearing from Vaslav Stamsa at TDP, and he will be talking about KeyShield SSO. He'll give us a little overview of the product's history and then also talk about some features and benefits of KeyShield SSO and give us a live product demonstration. Now, as always, if you do have any questions during the presentation, feel free to put those through on the chat or the Q&A, and we will get to those at the end. Let's go ahead and get started with Kyle. Are you there, Kyle?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Great. Thanks. Much appreciated, Amy. We're glad you could all join us today, and we're excited to introduce and talk with you a little bit about KeyShield Single Sign-On Solution and why we actually chose it. Let me jump right to that right off the bat. So specifically GroupLink, there's a lot of different options out there, and we've had people approach us with different options for single sign-on solutions that we could use with the help desk. We have decided to work with KeyShield SSO for the following reasons. They integrate with your eDirective and Active Directory client, which you all know that HelpDesk already does. But now your users only need to authenticate to the network once, and then they can access multiple systems, including Everything HelpDesk, because of that same integration. Eliminates password problems among users. I know that lots of people talk about this, and it's a popular bullet point, but I mean, this is really quite significant. I just looked at a survey, a national survey that was done by Harris Interactive just this last year in 2012 here in the States, and they said that 58% of adults working in America needed to remember 5 or more unique passwords, and 38% of those people thought it might be easier to solve world peace than to do so. So, kind of funny there, but it hits home the idea that we have users that need to remember lots and lots of passwords, and it's something that they're not very good at. Hence, in the system, we have quick tickets enabled for you to be able to have end users submit, hey, how do I reset username and password for this or for that, et cetera. So we want to help alleviate that, and KeyShield can do that. So it's not just a great solution working with HelpDesk, it's going to help you in other areas as well. Speed. The authentication is done in less than a millisecond. It's very fast. And it supports all common mobile platforms. So your technicians are going to be able to work from your desktop, laptop in the office, a mobile phone, or their tablet while traveling, just be able to connect right to the help desk. And they support Windows, Linux, Mac OS, iOS, Android, and BlackBerry. So basically anything you're going to be using, KeyShield is going to work on, which is very important and powerful to us because our whole goal is to make things easier for our technicians using the help desk, and we feel that KeyShield will do this for us. A couple other things. Easy to deploy. We've tested this in the office extensively. KeyShield SSO can be deployed within an hour. It's not very hard to set up, as well as there's no additional requirements. So KeyShield only needs Java, and it can be run on the same computer that you're already running Everything Help Desk on. So it's not going to take up another room, not going to have to install a whole other server. It's going to be pretty easy. And I think this is also very powerful, other integration available without purchasing additional licenses. You'll be able to talk to Vaslav soon, and he might highlight a few more of these in his live demonstration or talk about ones that interest him, but this is very powerful to me. So, there's major systems that are already integrated with KeyShield. However, one of the main reasons we decided to work with KeyShield is because they do not limit you in other solutions you're using. So every organization is different. You're going to come and you might have a couple that you want to integrate with KeyShield. You're going to be able to do that. It's not going to be an additional charge unless there's extensive work that needs to be done. But in most cases that KeyShield has worked with and that we have seen, it's very simple and easy to do. Here are a few partners already with KeyShield that they integrate with right off the bat that you don't have to do anything with. You'll notice some strong Novell partners there with Guava, Hopefully you're using a few others of these, but as I said, you'll be able to integrate with other systems fairly simple. And that was one of the major things that helped us with KeyShield, that it's so secure, that it's fast, and that you have so much flexibility in customizing it to work in your current environment and with, you know, other solutions you may purchase in the future that you want to bring on. You're going to be able to use single sign-on. So I think that's what I have to introduce. I want to let you know that I personally met and talked with Václav. He is a great man with a great product and solution. We're happy that the Help Desk works with KeyShield Single Sign-On, and we think you'll be happy as well. So much so that we have worked up this special promotion just for our customers. So you can receive free licenses of KeyShield SSO. You have to request these by August 31st. If you go to that link there at the bottom, that's where you can fill out the form to do so. A number of customers have already done so, and they'll be receiving phone calls. We waited until after this actual webinar. So you'll be receiving, if you've already filled that out, don't worry, we didn't forget you. We were just waiting till the actual event here, and then we'll be contacting you and walking you through that process. You get free licenses of KeyShield SSO equal to the number of full IT technicians that you have in Everything Help Desk. So if you have 25 techs, we'll give you 25. You have 5, we'll give you 5. This is a very generous offer from Václav, and we're grateful for it. And know that this will help you see the power of KeyShield and how it will work in your own environment. Okay, so for the more technical stuff, we're going to bring Václav on, and don't hesitate to ask questions. Again, you can type those in the Q&A in the bottom of your window, and we will have a Q&A after the live presentation to go through those questions.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Kyle. So let's go ahead and pass it on over to Václav. Are you there, Václav?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon. Oh, good morning. Sorry, I have afternoon, but good morning. Could you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. So let me start. Good morning, everybody. I'm really happy to be here today with you. You should see my desktop, and first of all, you know, let me tell you something about single sign-on, because if you try, or you probably did already, if you try to find a single sign-on solution, you can Google really plenty of them, hundreds or even thousands, and it's a mess, because there are totally different products available on the market, and all of those products are communicated as a single sign-on. So what is a real single sign-on, or what are the differences in between different solutions? You know, in fact, even the browser you have on your desktop is a single sign-on solution, because it's able to keep your username and password. You can encrypt the database of those credentials, and if you are visiting the same URL again, the browser is able to enter your username and password automatically, and it works. So most of the single sign-on solutions are based on this technique. So they are in fact secret stored, and they are able to keep in a secret place your credentials. Of course, it's a question how secret such place is, you know, and if you are able to use this secret store when you are on your desktop, on your mobile, on your tablet, and whatever you are using to work with information systems within a company, for example. Of course, it's if we are talking not only about the browser, but also about the regular clients, the Microsoft Windows clients, etc., we clearly see that this approach, approach of keeping credentials in some secret store and automatically entering them when you are authenticated somewhere to some system, are limited to Windows. Why? Because under Windows, it's possible that one process is entering something to a window which is owned by different process. Of course, this is a security risk, and you probably use some endpoint security solution which is trying to protect your box against such software. But if you want to use single sign-on, which is working in that manner, you have to allow this. So this is the way how it's working. This is not possible on, for example, iOS. Could you imagine then that Apple will allow to distribute any software which will do that? No, definitely no, never ever. So if you are looking for a solution, there is a group of solutions available for Windows environment, and few of solutions which are, let's say, for iOS. You can find a solution, not only our solution, but also other solutions which are using keychain, for example. The second group is limited to browser. Kyle was talking about Shibboleth and CAS, of course. Those are pretty strong solutions, very nice solutions, but those solutions are limited to browsers. So how it works, you authenticate to the server through the authentication provider, so you can authenticate to the Shibboleth using KeyShield single sign-on. I will talk about this later. And once you are authenticated, you got a cookie. This cookie contains a unique identification of you. So if you are trying to work with another system which is integrated with a Shibboleth, Shibboleth finds this cookie and knows who you are, and you don't need to authenticate again, which is good. You know, you can use a browser on any platform or nearly any platform. Of course, you need a full-featured browser for this, but it's limited to a browser again. So imagine if you have a information system which is optimized for Internet Explorer and another one which is optimized for Firefox, and this is a reality, and you need to use two different browsers on sometimes even three. I use Chrome. You know, you have to authenticate twice or even 3 times, because different browsers are not able to share a cookie in between. Of course, the browser is encapsulated environment, and through security reasons, you know, it's really encapsulated. So you need to authenticate as many times as many browsers you are using against your information systems. And of course, because it's browser-based, if you are using some solution with a real client, you can't use this for single sign-on, or it's a tricky to integrate such solution with a provider like CAS is. So it makes it a little bit difficult. Our solution is named KeyShield single sign-on. What we do, you know, you authenticate to the server. We have no secret store, we have no database, nothing which you need to protect, you know, just a server which keeps everything in the memory, and you authenticate to the server, and the server knows your identity, and you can authenticate against LDAP source, or we can work as an authentication provider. How it works, I was talking about Shibboleth. If you have an application which is already integrated with Shibboleth, Shibboleth is able to pass the request, the authentication request, to authentication provider, which might be KeyShield single sign-on, and you are in. What is the advantage? Our solution is integrated with Novell Client and Microsoft Domain, like was mentioned by Kyle. So you don't need to authenticate more than once a day, which is a great enhancement, you know, which is a nice feature. Let me show you how it works. I have an example here. You should see my PDF presentation. I need to use, okay, arrows. I have a Windows PC here, but again, you know, it can be any platform which was mentioned at the beginning. iOS, Linux, macOS, Android, BlackBerry, and there are no differences. So all clients are offering same functionality, plus Windows clients are offering an integration. I'll show you on another, it's another presentation. So we have here a client, a box, which has an IP address, and we might use any client. For example, you know, very nice integration is with Novell Vibe. Novell Vibe is a portal solution with a document management system built in, and if you would like to access a document, you need to use WebDAV. So you are authenticated to the portal, which is common to other solutions, not only to Vibe. You are already in, you are working in the portal, and now you would like to modify a document, but it's done through WebDAV. And there is no relation in between your browser session to the Vibe and your WebDAV, so you have to authenticate again. Of course, your office can keep your credentials. There is a limit, I think, 2 hours or something like that. But initially, you must authenticate again against the WebDAV interface, not with us. So imagine this is an office trying to modify a document. So first, the connection request comes to the server, and the server knows at this moment only the source IP address, nothing more. Yeah. So with our integration, there is a small piece of code, and it's connecting to our server, which is Java-based. It can run on the same box. As Kyle mentioned, it might be on the same box like everything HelpDesk, which is the same example. This can be everything HelpDesk, of course, asking the server who is the user behind the IP address. And if server knows the identity of the user, it returns a document which contains fully qualified name. It might contain group membership, email address, etc., etc. Maybe you are surprised that we are working with IP address, but in fact, you know, the IP address within an environment is a unique, otherwise it would not work, and it's the only thing which is really common to all platforms. Don't worry about IP addresses. There is nothing static. We don't have any IP table or something like that. No, we have a client, and the client, our client sitting on the box, is constantly talking to the server. By default, the identity of the user is checked each 2 minutes, every 2 minutes. Of course, you can use shorter time or longer time. It depends. Yeah? It depends on your situation. So when the server is replying that the user behind the IP address is Martin Smith, in this case, server positively knows that this identity was valid latest 2 minutes ago. Now, server knows the identity of the user. And how it works, you know, this is the same stage like with LDAP authentication. So if your server is asking you who you are, and you should specify your username and password within an LDAP source, and it's positively checked, you know. At this moment, the server knows you are this user, which is this is the name of the LDAP object. Now it should just check if you are allowed to work. In case of everything HelpDesk, it checks: are you admin or are you regular user? No, are you technician or regular user? And based on this, even both have a user object within the same LDAP tree. You know, based on this, you got a different interface. The interface of the user and of the technician is different, and then the authentication is done. The response of our server is really pretty fast. You know, it might be, it depends, of course, a little bit on the hardware, but even on poor Windows workstation, the time is a couple of hundreds of microseconds, so it's less than milliseconds. It's pretty fast. Why this is important? Because if you integrate this not only with everything HelpDesk, but for example with your proxy, we have a very nice integration for Squid, for example, and you know most of the solutions which are available around the world are based on Squid. So you don't need to authenticate the IP address of the user for 2 hours. how it's working in the real world, you can do that for a minute. Why not? Because next authentication is done within a millisecond, which is nothing. Even if you have a pretty fast connection to the internet, your users will not be delayed by the authentication against the KeyShield SSO server. By the way, you see I'm still using WSTRAS here, and we did a last release under this former name just today. We are switching the new name. Of course, it needs time, and why we did it is just practical, because our former name was Workstation Trust. Yeah, because we are talking about devices, about workstations, but there is a technology which is named Web Services Trust. It's totally different, but the short name is same, and it was causing problems to us. You know, people were like, "Oh, this is Web Services. I know about it. I don't want it." So we changed the name to KeyShield SSO, because our logo, our icon, you will see in a while, is key on the shield. So how it works is with eDirectory. This integration is available for Windows only, and same is available for domain. So if your users are authenticating in the morning to eDirectory or to domain, doesn't matter, it works same or similar, because we are not using tickets in case of domains. But what is a similarity? That our client here, you see key on the shield, is talking to the local client, and it learns who you are. So you authenticate against the directory in this case, you know, and it's catched by our client and reports your name and your IP address to the server. You see the color is changed. We are using 3 different colors, red, yellow, and green, which is very nice. For HelpDesk, it's perfect, because if you get a call from the user and he or she is reporting, "Oh, I'm red," you know that there is something wrong with the network. If they are reporting, "I'm yellow," you know that there is a connection to the server, but user is not authenticated. So red means no connection to the server, yellow means connection to the server is okay, but there is no authentication, and green means everything is okay. So in case of eDirectory, we generate a token, store the token into the eDirectory, and then identification, we send the identification of the token plus a challenge, which is just information which should be signed back to the client. Client gets a token, and when it generates a response, and the response is matched with what is expected. You know, we are 150% sure that the user is really Martin Smith in this case, and you see it's green, and the user also authenticated. This is happening in a while, totally automatically. So the only thing the user has to do is to authenticate to eDirectory or to authenticate to Active Directory, and that's it, to domain. Yeah. From this point, they can access as many web-based or client-based solutions you have integrated with a KeyShield directly or through CAS, through Shibboleth, and they can work. So let me show you. You know, you should see my Windows XP. I authenticate. We support everything from Windows XP and above. And with Windows XP, I have nothing here. It's just a Windows XP, no client, nothing, you know. But here is a KeyShield single sign-on client. You see, it's already green. I'm authenticated here as a Joe Doe. Let me show you current state. I'm Joe Doe. Yeah? So if I start every single help desk, I'm in. It's pretty fast. Of course, I have everything, 2 servers, 2 workstations on my poor Macintosh, so it's not so fast, but in a real world, it's fast like a lightning, like, and that's it. So users really like this. And you see, I'm Joe Doe. What I can do, you know, I can change my authentication, so I can log out. And let me try to authenticate as admin. I'm admin, and if I access everything HelpDesk, you see again it's fast. I'm system admin. You see the interface is totally different. So I'm admin at the moment. Yeah. Of course, if I just disconnect and start this again, it's asking me for name and password. Why? Because everything HelpDesk is very nice product based on Spring Security. This is common framework, and there is a list of authentication methods. So our single sign-on integration is first. So first, each time somebody is connecting to the server, first it asks the KeyShield SSO for the identity of the user. If KeyShield SSO don't know me, then the second method is taking place, which is a standard authentication mechanism. You know already from your everything HelpDesk, so it's asking me for login ID, which is a username and password. Same functionality with other products. As Kyle mentioned, we are not licensing any integration. You are allowed to integrate 50 products, no problem. You just need a license for device. So this is wipe. You see, I'm not authenticated, so it's asking me for name and password. Let me authenticate back again as a different user. Why not? Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm in, and I start wipe. You see, I'm in Martin Smith. Let me show you a funny feature, funny side effect. Let me try to log out. I'm sorry, this is in Czech language, but let me try to log out. You see, something is happening, but I always return back to my workspace. Why? Because wipe is based on Spring Security, like everything HelpDesk. It's a pretty standard. And what's happening? I log out. It really logs me off. And then it's taking me to the login page again, but the first authentication mechanism is single sign-on integration. So it's learning that I'm Martin Smith, I'm in again. So what I need to know, what I can do, for example, I can authenticate as Joe Doe to single sign-on. I'm Joe Doe. Here I'm still Martin Smith. Of course, this is because there is a session, browser session, which is nothing with this. But if I log out, you see I'm back as a Joe Doe. If I disconnect, just disconnect, and I log out, it's asking me for name and password. So it's pretty standard, pretty easy for users to understand how it works. If they see the green shield in the taskbar, they can access anything. Including, of course, not only everything HelpDesk, but other solutions. I can show you. I don't know. Of course, I don't have all of the integrations available here, but I can show you Vava, for example. It's very nice to work with quarantine using single sign-on, but not only quarantine. What is very nice is spam reporting, because if you have to report an email that you consider it's a spam, you have to authenticate per case again. With this, you don't need to authenticate. You just click, it's reported as a spam. So it's pretty fast. Okay, this is an example when I'm using so-called held-up authentication. So I have to enter my name and password manually. This is common for all clients, but for example, when you have an iPhone, I'm using iPhone every single day. I like this device, and our client for iPhone is using keychain. So I have my credentials stored within the keychain. The client is even able to do so-called automatic authentication. So once it sees the server, it authenticates me automatically, seamlessly, and I'm in. So now I'm trying to start Windows 7 workstation, And what is the difference in between Windows 7 and Windows XP is that here I have a novel client installed. So there is an integration active. It takes short time, and you will see that if I will work with novel client, so I authenticate, I can change my authentication directory. Our solution follows. So Joe, okay. By the way, Kyle told you already that the installation of my test license, okay, no problem, is pretty easy. Even, you can be done with an installation of the server within maybe 20 minutes. So, and then the integration needs another 10 minutes, and within half an hour or maybe 1 hour, together with the testing, you might have a single sign-on ready for your technician. So you see, I did nothing. I see the green icon here because I'm already authenticated as a Joe Doe, because there is an integration in between our client and the novel client. So let me try to visit everything HelpDesk, and again, I'm in Joe Doe. Yeah, so I authenticate just once a day. No timeouts, nothing like that. All the time, my authentication to e-directory is valid. Then my authentication to single sign-on, KeyShield single sign-on is valid, and I can work with any solutions. What I can do, now I'm not clicking our client, I'm clicking novel client, novel login, and let me change. Let's say admin, why not? So now it will ask me if I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. I really need to change the user. Okay, and you see it's yellow. It takes short time, because there is a communication with a ticket, and now we are green. So I'm back in as a different user. Now my identity is not Joe Doe, is admin. So if I start everything HelpDesk, I'm in as admin. Of course, you don't need to change your novel authentication, your e-directory authentication, or your domain authentication to be able to work with everything HelpDesk like admin. The most easiest way is to disconnect for a while. So I can click here, just disconnect. You see it's yellow now. Now I'm not now to the single sign-on, and I can type my name and password manually, so it's easy. I authenticate as a different user, and when I'm done, I just can click here. Again, I don't need to enter anything. I just click here, and the authentication mechanism works again, and I'm back in as a current e-directory user. So if I visit wipe again, I'm admin. Yeah, you see admin. So this is rock solid solution, pretty fast. Imagine you have an angry customer on the phone, and you need to find, or angry user on the phone, and you need to find something pretty fast in the system. With this solution, you just click. You don't get the timeout during the phone call. When you are in phone call, it's working really nice. So this is a live demo. You see here we have other integrated solutions. We have a Drupal, Joomla, Moodle, Squid, and of course, if you request a new integration, we are happy to do that for you. If it's possible, we can do that. There are, of course, it seems it's lovely, so nice. There are some limits. Because we are working with an IP address, there are some situations which we are not able to handle, but it's not a real limitation. Because first, terminal services. There were so many discussions, especially in between Oracle and Microsoft, about terminal services. And beginning version 2008 R2, you are able to install terminal services server in that manner that each session has a virtual IP address. If you have virtual IP addresses, we can we can support it. We support it. You can work with single sign-on KeyShield SSO. It's working fine. So with terminal services, with new server, no problem. Second thing, fast user switching. This is really crazy feature. You know, if you look for this, if you Google this, you know, you find so many admins, and they are crying, please, how I can disable this. Of course, this is very nice at home when you would like to share a computer in between you and your children, but it's not nice for an organization. So, but with us, our client is able to recognize so-called fast user switching. So if you authenticate to single sign-on, regardless it's by integration or manually, you know, and you activate a switch, you switch to different session, your session your authentication to KeyShield single sign-on is immediately invalid. When you return back to the session, to your session, which was authenticated before, your authentication is automatically validated again. So no risk. And third, very, very strong example, network address translation. Of course, with not on the server side, there is no problem. You can have our server in the DMZ, it's working fine. But when the client is behind NAT, which in Europe, it's happening very often when you open your laptop at McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, or Shell, gas station. They are offering a complementary Wi-Fi connection, but behind NAT. And you don't know what is happening behind NAT, definitely. So this is not only about KeyShield single sign-on, it's about anything. You should not allow users to access your information systems from behind NAT. This is real security question, you know. What they should do, use VPN. If you are using VPN, you can connect to the network, to DMZ, you know, it depends, and you can work. And we support this, of course. So with a VPN channel, I'm using VPN on my iPhone always, and because the client works automatically, I just connect to VPN and I'm in, and I can authenticate to our information system. Everything is done within few seconds, and that's it. So any other scenario, if you have regular users inside the company or using a public IP address, why not? We have many customers like a nuclear research institute or universities, and they have plenty of workstations on public addresses. It's working really nice. So, you know, from the beginning, 4 years ago, when we start with the solution, you know, our company has a more than 25 years of history, and during this time we were always developing solutions for our customers. You know, we were trying to prepare solutions for their needs. We did not only KeyShield single sign-on, but other current product from us is Secure Inbox, for example. Secure Inbox is taking care about security of Windows boxes. Very interesting solution. And you know, from the beginning, when we start developing KeyShield single sign-on, under former name WS Trust, our plan was to serve all existing client platforms. So we were looking for common things which we can use for that, and there are so huge differences. You know, if you compare Android or iOS with Windows, it's different world, different approach. You know, so it's why our concept is this. But we are happy with our concept because we can offer you a rock-solid solution which you can use on any device. No problem if your boss will enter your office tomorrow with a new shiny thing, say, okay, it's covered, just let me install a client and you can work. So, and the second goal was to have it really fast. It's you know, in fact, it's nice. If you don't need to enter name and password manually, it's nice. But if it takes 10 seconds I hate those delays. So it's why we have a so fast solution. Our goal was to have it faster than a second, but we did much better. It's faster than a millisecond. So it's really a really fast solution, and we are happy about our cooperation with GroupLink. I like everything HelpDesk. It's a great product. It's available also here in Europe. I'm from Czech Republic. I'm living in the heart of Europe, and this is pretty strong cooperation. And we are happy also about other cooperations which were mentioned by Kyle. There's Novell, Guava, big companies, and what is important for us, they did their own integration. So the integration itself was not developed by us, it's developed by them. And GroupLink is working on own solution as well. And what is important, last thing, the integration is easy. If you would like to use a Kerberos, which is pretty old, my OpenID is much better, much newer, but to make the application so-called Kerberized, it may take 2 weeks, maybe more. Even the integration with Shibboleth is not a piece of cake, but we have very nice REST interface. We are returning HTML, XML, or JSON document, or even a certificate for 2 or 3 level systems. And it's so easy that the integration can be done within a day, maybe half a day. We have customers in UK, for example, and they were looking for SSO solution, which they can use together with their in-house developed or customized solutions, and then they did it pretty fast. And then they were happy that they bought such a strong solution, which might be interesting for you as well. If you have anything developed in-house, if you have anything customized for you, you just send one HTTP request to our RST interface, and that's it. You've got the identity of the user, and it's pretty secure. So that's it for me. Now let's check your questions and comments. Amy, will you?
Yeah, thank you, Václav. That was a great presentation and demonstration. Again, if anyone does have any questions, feel free to put those through on the chat or the Q&A. Okay, so it looks like the first question, how is KeyShield handling current Java security issues?
Oh, that's a good question. Thank you. In fact, we are using Java only at the server side. All clients are native clients for respective operation systems, and the Java problems are very specific. It's about developer version and access. In fact, KeyShield single sign-on is just a regular Java program. It's running on the server with a JVM, and the only way you should open 2 ports to the server, it's administrative port and the client port. And I can show you how this looks. If I'm administrator, because it's working as a very nice administrative tool as well. This is a console of the WSTAS, and it's the only way how you can access the system. In fact, we have customers like Ministry of Interior, Nuclear Research Institute, big companies, and they did extensive tests, and they found no leaks. We found no leaks, and we really believe how it works. When I'm showing you the console, you see I'm admin. I can see a list of users. This means this is a Novell or eDirectory integration. This is just manual. And what is very nice, I missed to show you. We have a feature which is called yellow message, and this is supported by all clients. And what you can do, just then send the message. You can send the message to specific user, groups of users, users within the subnet. So if you have a building with a specific subnet and you would like to tell them, hey, water supply is stopped, there's no water, don't visit toilets, no problem with that. You send the message to the that group of clients like this, test message. And of course, it has a validity period. What does it mean? You know, when you return from 2 weeks vacation, your mailbox is overhauled by plenty emails, no meanings. But if you connect after the validity period, you know, you've got no message. You see, message was sent and it's here. I'm Joe Dodo, I think, and here I'm admin. I got a message in a while. So there are no real issues we know about. It's pretty secure. Another question?
Okay, so it looks like the next question is KeyShield SSO set up to work with Microsoft 365 and or Blackboard. Now I know you talked a little bit about other integration, but if you could talk just a little bit more about it, that would be great.
Okay, so you know there is no integration with Office 365 at the moment. We are working on. We did a Shibboleth because of EduGain project just a week ago. Now we are focused on OpenID. You know, there are few very interesting, important OpenID authentication providers, not only Google, there are also other providers. So it's what we are working on. In fact, we got a request for let's say Microsoft SQL and other products. But in fact, like with Shibboleth on CS or OpenID, if you are thinking about OpenID, you know, this is something you can't do yourself. In fact, if you are using password cache, you have some secret store, and you are able to enter the name and password into the window, it's working, and you don't need to work on the integration. But all other solutions which are better, faster, more secure, the integration must be done by an author of the solution. Yeah. So if Microsoft will integrate with us, perfect, then the integration will be available. Of course, because our integration with Shibboleth or CS, if they do that for Shibboleth or CS, this automatically means that they are integrated with us. But at the moment, this is not available. Other integrations, you see here is a list. This is from our website. Here is a list of direct integrations, including the CAS and Shibboleth. Down here, you see, and we have a specific integration piece of code, or it's provided by the company or the developer of the product. You see data synchronizer from Novell. We have Drupal, everything, HelpDesk, Guava, etc., etc. So if you visit our website, you will see a list of already integrated solutions. And if you need to integrate something, it might be common product or specific thing, just talk to GroupLink, because they are our partner for this North America market, and together we will respond pretty quick, you know, and we let you know what are the options. If we can do that, if you have to ask the author of the solution, I don't know. But basically it's easy. It's same like with OpenID, it's same like with Shibboleth. It's easier. Technically it's easier. Our interface is pretty easy to implement.
Great.
Okay?
Thanks, Václav. I just want to point that out as well, that you know, I'll be calling around and talking with the majority of you on the webinar today and other customers, and we'll talk about that. If there's specific ones you want to integrate with, and then I can convey that information back to Václav and let you know where we're at with that. There was another question about licensing. Do we license per device? Does that mean you need a license for each mobile phone, iPad 2? And from my understanding, Václav, it means You don't unless you want to have two devices running authentication at the same time.
Yes, yes, exactly. It's concurrent licensing. So what is licensed is a concurrent number of connections to the server. So if you disconnect on iPad and connect on Windows, you still need a one license.
Right. Perfect.
And the last is KeyShield single sign-on client a manual install? I see the question. You know, you can, you know, the client. If we are talking about Windows, probably the client is available in form of MSI. So it's you can do that manually, or you can use a policy, or you can use some solution like, I don't know, ZenWorks or Tivoli or whatever you want. So it's pretty easy to install the client. Of course, clients for mobile devices are basically available through App Store. So there is a client available at Google Play, App Store, BlackBerry market. So, but when we are talking about Windows, you can do that manually or you can do it automatically, especially because there are no registrations, no real integration with the system. So it's pretty easy to install the client. It's pretty easy to remove the client. No problems with that. Any other question? I see no question in the list.
Nope, I think you've covered them all, Vaslav. If anybody else has further questions, don't hesitate to ask me. I will, like I said, be calling around. And we will be sending up a follow-up email to you that will include the recording of this event. So you can re-listen to, but don't hesitate to ask anyone at GroupLink if you have questions regarding HelpDesk and KeyShield SSO. Okay, Amy.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Vaslav, and thanks, Kyle. Just a couple quick reminders as we wrap up. We are on Facebook, Google+, and LinkedIn, so that's just another way that you can connect with us. Feel free to ask us any questions on those sites that you may have, or just stay up to date with everything that GroupLink has going on. And then the last reminder I have is about the promotion. Don't forget to request your free licenses of KeyShield SSO, and I'll put that link through on the chat again so that you can just click on that and request your free licenses. And don't forget, those need to be requested by August 31st. Thank you all for joining us today. Have a great day.